I'm Adam Chaskin, CEO of the Jewish Community Alliance. As many of you know, seeing the JCA overflowing with people usually brings us immense joy. While there's a large measure of comfort in seeing you all here today, this is not the gathering for which we hoped, nor on an occasion we imagined we would need. I've been here 5 years, so Eiffel had been here about a decade when I arrived. And it became clear that he was a superstar here at the JCA in this community. We have an inside joke, which isn't going to be such an inside joke in a moment, but Eiffel would get from point A to point B as fast as he could, which would involve often sprinting down the hallways of the JCA. And I have access to all our security cameras in the building in my office, and so I would see him sprinting occasionally through the hallways. And I'd go to him and say, Eiffel, you got to stop sprinting. Like, people think something's wrong when you're sprinting. you got to slow down. So we agreed on speed walking. It was okay. And I know many other people are going to tell food-related stories. I've got one, of course, as well. There was a conference that myself and Eiffel and Rio Robinson, who will be coming up here in a little bit, went to together, and we were sharing a hotel room, and all of a sudden I was like, what is that smell? And for those of you who know him, know it was sardines, as he had brought plenty of cans with him to have snack food in between because he needed to eat constantly with his high metabolism. So I got used to sardines. I want them grilled, though, not out of the can like he ate them. I learned a lot from Eiffel. One of the things was patience, because we all know if you've talked to Eiffel, there is no such thing as a short conversation. So you had to learn patience, because if you cut it short, you were going to miss learning an important thing. Whether he was sharing with you an actual fact about his job in the wellness, how to help someone, or it was his family, or a Task Force Hydra 1 group that he was so proud to be working with and help. He just had so much knowledge and so many things, and had such a passion to help so many people, that I always slotted more than what I told him the amount of time when we were going to meet, because I didn't want to miss on any of those things. So our presence here today is to remember, to grieve, to be together, is a blessing to Eiffel's family, his extended communities of Task Force Hydra 1 and the JCA. A privilege and responsibility to honor a man who gave so much love and was the recipient of love of all in this room. No doubt each of you could share your own stories. We have asked a few people to offer their reflections to us all. And our first speaker, as I mentioned just a moment ago, will be Rio Robinson, a longtime friend and colleague here at the JCA.
All right, well, thank you guys for coming to honor one of my best friends. I appreciate y'all all coming out. It shows a lot of love and support, especially for this family right here that I hold really dear in heart. But before we get started, we need to bring the spirit of Eiffel in here with us today. So, I'm going to leave that up there for him and maybe have a snack later. All right, who's ready to cry? Let's do this, okay? Eiffel. The journey he had with him and his family at the time, Yana, Joseph, and Lana, to the States, was unimaginable when he told me stories about it. And the path of getting here was filled with challenges and obstacles. But Eiffel, being the constant optimist, was here to lead his family into the unknown and reassure them constantly that it was going to be all right. He did an amazing job. He got here, no car. They dropped him off in the middle of the hood on Phillips Highway. Not the nicest part of town. I remember giving him a ride home one day because he didn't have a ride. or his bike had broken, I think. And I was like, "Bud, you gotta get out of this neighborhood. This is not good." And he would make a joke about it, tell some stories of things he's seen that he was obviously culture shock for him. But he was always kept it positive and was just glad to be here and very thankful. I remember he came in to interview for the for a personal trainer position. So we have a team office back by the pool. Eiffel comes in to interview with the fitness director at the time, and he's in like a sweatsuit, comes in, he's got this thick accent, and I'm listening to the interview as it goes on, and he's just like crushing it, but I can't get over he came for a professional interview, and this is what he came as, and he had a little bit of sweat dripping because he, I think, ran here from wherever he was coming. But listening to the interview and his amount of credentials and, things that he's achieved, it was very apparent this guy was special. So from that day on, we start striking up conversations when he started here. It was immediately a kindred spirit of bonding, something that was just me and him on the same level. And I think it was mainly because he had so much love and appreciation for life. He loved his family so much, and he just oozed it. And he was one of a kind. Eiffel and me, like I said, we hit it off right off the rip, and he taught me so many lessons through our journey together, and just a way to look at life with a half glass full. And to not sit there and bemoan your situation or what you're going through. And it definitely changed me over time a lot. And I didn't really realize until reflecting after all this drama has happened. And I'd say a good portion of where I've come from was heavily impacted by him. Eiffel, he had lots of passions. He did everything with the fullest intent to be successful and to make sure that he did the best that he possibly could. He was a renowned soccer player. Obviously, he was a fitness freak. He loved people. He loved paddling, causes. He was a coach in my soccer league, coaching Joseph and his daughters. And the enthusiasm he brought to those kids and what they walked away with, so many parents were like, I want to play again, but my son's got to be on his team again. I'm not going to play. And I'm like, it's not how it works. I'll see what I can do. But he became to the point where I was like, Eiffel, it'd probably be best maybe if you just reffed, so maybe people stop not liking you so much. And most importantly, he was the consummate family man. Everything he did was for his family. He was an incredible role model. And I feel like a lot of my parenting skills can be mimicked. But again, we were very similar. We had a fiber that was just something that was different, and we always connected on that. He was my friend, my confidant, my coworker, and most importantly, one of my family. We worked hard hours, went above and beyond to do a good job. We hung together when we could, although not enough. And we were bonded by an innate brotherhood that was extremely special to him and to me. I'm so glad we got to share each other, and I'll always miss that. We shared similar pastimes, like running through the hallways when we were late to staff meeting. We had a really, I don't know how you say it, but we had a very meaningful hug routine. When we'd see each other, we'd embrace. You would try to hug him harder than you, but that was never the case. So I got creative. Eiffel had an incredible set of man rocks right here. And I don't know if it made him uncomfortable, but I would always come up there, I would give him the full hug, and then as I pulled off of him, I would come by and just feel them a couple times. Yeah, that's weird. It's okay. But like I said, we're connected. We're connected. We hang out and talk about life over beers. And I remember I came here for the Hanukkah party, and that was the last time I saw him. And I'm so glad that I came. It was the last thing I did before I left, and he saw me, and he just let out this huge, brother. And he came up to me, and then we had our normal embrace, but this time it changed. He caressed me. I don't know if he liked it, but I did. But that interaction now seems with a heavy heart because my brother's gone. We texted after that and said, hey, we got to get together for that beer. And we talked plans. We even talked about going paddling. And life is complicated and things get in the way. But I'm so happy that I got to see him then. He was an incredible person. So what do we do from here? If anything, the Eiffel has taught us is to live in the moment. Hug those who love you and tell them you love them. Do what you love wholeheartedly. It's ironic, tomorrow is January 1st, so it's the season of New Year's resolutions. Eiffel kind of would always make a mock of all these people coming in to start this epiphany to a new self. You know, he lived it every day, obviously. But I think what he's taught me and hopefully everybody in this room is you need to live for every day. There's no excuse not to. I don't know if I learned this from him or if it just makes sense today, but I say to my kids, when things aren't going their way, we've had some stuff happen that, makes you want to hang your head. But I've always said to them, he's like, look, life is no guarantee. It is super random. And there's not a lot of lessons you can take out of everything because it's just life. But I tell them, you have to make your day every day. You got to pour that glass a little higher so it's a little higher than full, half full. So I implore everybody in this room to pay this forward and do it yourself. Start your Eiffel journey today. When you leave this J, not tomorrow, when the morning shows say you need to get your health on and get that shakedown. Don't wait for tomorrow. You need to live for today. You need to make your day. And you need to be Eiffel strong. Eiffel? We will see each other again soon. Not real soon. I love you, brother. And I can't wait to crack a sick can of sardines, get my hug with a little man boob caress, and we're going to get that beer. I love you, brother.
Next, I would like to ask that Leonardo Louis Yui, a representative Task Force Hydra 1, come forward to speak.
So that Before I came here today, I was in the water, I was paddling. There were sessions that sometimes he will go out and paddle twice a day. He can easily put 24 miles just because. And as I was paddling today in our intercoastal over in Villano, I couldn't stop thinking about him. There were some dolphins that came around. There was that fishy smell, just like the sardine that I got on my left. He's one of those guys that live life with purpose and intensity. Everything that he did it with a purpose. He was a great man, a great family man. And I can tell you guys, I have never seen anyone love his family the way he did. In the last couple of days, throughout the search that we did, it was rough. There were a lot of thoughts going through my mind trying to understand the whole situation and process at the same time. But my anchor through those days was the fact that I knew that, like I said it before, if any of us was missing, he will be the one going out in the search. And I got a story, actually. So back in a few years ago, in 2021, Ricky, co-founder, and myself, and also Eiffel, we got invited to go to Key West. So we go to Key West to paddle from Key West to Miami. It's 150 miles paddle to raise money to another organization over in the guys that come from Hawaii, retired Navy SEALs. So now when we're in the boat, it's probably day 2 or 3. As far as you're not allowed to bring a banana. Don't know why, but I guess it has something to do with bad luck throughout the whole thing, right? So we are on the support boat. The other team is paddling on the outrigger canoe. And what do I see? Eiffel reaching into his bag, pulling this yellow thing. He pulls it out, and as I'm looking at it, it's like, oh no. I gotta look the other way. That day, he almost got thrown out of the boat. But we always knew that Eiffel will do what we wanted to do. It is tragic what happened. However, I know that just moving forward, we gotta live life to the fullest, just like Eiffel did. Everything with intensity, just like the way he will look at you sometimes when he's talking to you. Just life with purpose. Thank you.
At this time, Joseph Gilyana, Eiffel's son, has a few words to share with us.
So I'd like to start with just thanking everyone for coming out here. We appreciate everyone's support through everything that's happened. Obviously, it's an unfortunate event, but if there's one thing that my dad taught me, it's there's always good and bad. So when I was coming up with the speech, I came up with a list of good things that comes out of this. good things that we can take from my dad's life. What he's taught everyone, whether it be at the JCA, TFH1, soccer, anything. Am I speaking too loud? We're all good? We're all good? So, the first characteristic that I want to bring up about my dad would be his leadership. The biggest thing that I see from him when I look at him is how he can look at any situation, whether how downhill it's going, and figure out exactly what needs to be done to turn it around. Another thing I see from him is when there's some sort of problem or dilemma, he won't just look at it from his eyes. He'll take a step back, see it from anyone's eyes that are involved, and look 3 steps ahead as well. And then he'll make a decision. Usually it's the right one, but not everyone's perfect, right? That's something he knew as well as a leader. Not everybody's perfect. Not everyone's going to do exactly what you need or want them to do. So as a leader, he understood that. He understood that with, I'm sure, with the JCA, when he took charge. He understood that at home, when he took charge. And I can proudly say that we played soccer together on the same team multiple times, and even though his skills weren't the best, his leadership was, so. No, I'm only saying that because he always said he was better than me. Another thing a leader does is always seeing the good and the bad, which is what I started with, which is what I have as another characteristic. Now, how did he do that? Well, for starters, he would come in everywhere with a positive attitude. How many of you have seen my dad walk in with a frown on his face? Raise your hand. Nobody? That's good. That's good. I thought one person was going to. He would always come in with a smile on his face. He'd always see everybody and try to put joy in the room, because that's how you start everything off. If you don't start off your day with joy, you're not doing it right. And how can you put a smile on everyone else's face if you don't have a smile on yours? Another thing that he did, when he saw someone new, a stranger, he was the first to interact with them, the first to say hello, to open the conversation, because that can be difficult sometimes, right? We've all seen someone new and been a little bit nervous to say something, but that didn't bother him, because he was an outgoer. He was always reaching for the stars, always trying to be the best he can, not only for himself, but for everyone else around him, including all of you, all of us, and the people back in Iraq as well. He did it for everyone. The third characteristic I have is one that he gave me as well. And I'm sure if I mention this, all of you will be like, oh yeah, true. That would be work ethic. Oh yeah, true. His work ethic was unbelievable, and he always loved paddling, but the way he did it, I was like, how do you like this, He would come to me in my room, and I'm just sitting there, I'm just minding my own business. He'd show up, yeah, Joseph, look what I did, look at this, yeah. And he'd be like explaining what he just did, right? And it'd be like, yeah, I just did 40-mile paddle, no water, no food, no human exposure, me and by myself at 4 a.m., followed by 10 workouts. I'm just like, you were telling me about overtraining the other day, and now you're over here. Come on, man, pick a side, Yeah, but everyone can see it in him, you know? Work ethic comes not in only that form, but also in the form of doing things that other people wouldn't want to do. Volunteering for what people have to be voluntold to do. I remember he told me stories about when the JCA was moving the equipment around, and he's like, yeah, I just moved around everything by myself. It's like, Dad, you know you have other people there, right? And he's like, I know. Okay, cool. Good job. So he used that with me as well with my training for soccer. He didn't like wake me up. It wasn't like a Rocky movie, you know. He didn't like, oh, alarms 5 a.m. Let's go. No, it was just, you know, he told me to get what you need, to get what you want, you need to work hard. It's that simple. If not, it's not going to happen. You know, hello, welcome to the world. So that stuck with me, and I can't say that every time I trained it was for him or anything like that. I mean, it was for me, but he did play a role into it, you know. Whether it be pulling up to practice and no one being at the fields yet, and then staying after when everyone's gone, working on your shots and things like that. And he used to be able to help me with it. You know, he used to play goalkeeper. As I got bigger and stronger, his chances of saving the ball, come on, yeah, it's right foot's dangerous, you know? So I remember one time we were in our neighborhood, and he was in his truck. He just got his new truck, and he was like, Joseph, let's use faster. You are the truck. And I was like, what are you talking about? You know, like, where did you get this from? And he was like, don't worry, I'll match you. And I was like, how is anyone going to be faster if you're just going to match me? And so he made me get out. We were on the way home, and he made me get out of the car at the top of the neighborhood. And he was like, all right, now run. And I was like, okay. And so I just blinked my eyes, and now all of a sudden I'm sprinting back home in like a pair of like sweats and sandals. And he's like driving his car. He's like, look at me. Come on, faster, faster. Just like, what's going on? And then at the end, you know, he'll park his car. I'm like, I get home, and he's like, that was okay. Do better. And I was like, yeah, it makes sense. And so, yeah, you can tell his work ethic. And the last characteristic I have of him, I think someone took my notes, but it says sardines. I don't know why that's there. But it's just sardines. That's the fourth one. You know, they taste good sometimes they don't. He ate the ones with the like skin and the bones and the eyes. What are you doing? I mean, which ones are these? I mean, these ones at least have like sauce on them, you know? Like, I told her, I was like, if you want me to eat sardines, you got to get the ones that are like skinless, boneless, you know, clean them up. I'm not a wild animal. You know, it's just like, I would not be surprised if when he was paddling one day, he just saw fish. He just you know, like, just ate it right there and took the eye. He's weird. He's very weird. But yeah, that's all I had. So thank you very much, guys. Thank you for coming.
And their cousin Ami would also like to share from the family.
Okay, hi. Good afternoon. My name is Emmy Gilyana, and I'll be reading a speech written by Diana Gilyana, Eiffel's sister. It takes a special person to place others before themselves. Eiffel, your heart was so big you dedicated your life in service to others. Since my childhood until now, I've been seeing and hearing about your braveness, kindness, and strength and wisdom. Everyone who knew my brother looked up to him, just like I do. Eiffel, your success and sacrifices led our family to a better place. I never knew how painful it was to lose someone until death took you away from us. I still can't believe you're gone. Death leaves wounds no one can heal. Eiffel, you dulled the light of Christmas. May your kind spirit shine and bright joy to everyone who loved you. Thank you for taking care of me and my family. Thank you for always making me proud. Eiffel Gilyana, you will always be my hero. Rest in peace, big brother. Thank you, and thank you, Diana, for giving me the honor of reading her heart-filled speech.
As we allow the words of friends and family to resonate, we also search for the words to capture how we are feeling, how sad we are for a life cut short, and how grateful we are for the opportunity to be part of Eiffel's life. We welcome former JCA staff member Amy Allen Farmer to share those words in song.
Looking back on the memory of the dance we shared 'neath the stars above. For a moment, all the world was right, but how could I have known that you'd ever say goodbye? I'm glad I didn't know the way it all would end, the way it all would go. Our lives are better left to chance. I could have missed the pain, but I'd have had to miss the dance. Holding you, I held everything. For a moment, wasn't I the king? If I'd only known how the king would fall. Hey, who's to say that I'd ever change at all? And now I'm glad I didn't know the way it all would end, the way it all would go. Our lives are better left to chance. I could have missed the pain, but I'd have had to miss. Our lives are better left to chance. I could have missed the pain, but I'd have had to miss the dance.
Representing the JCA Board of Trustees, Whitney Cooven will speak about her friend.
Today we gather here to celebrate the life of a truly remarkable individual. I'm not going to lie, this is one of the hardest things I've ever had to do. To try to express how much Eiffel meant to me and this community was not an easy task. He's a symbol of dedication, love, and inspiration. And as we reflect on his life, we're reminded of the profound impact he had on those around him and how we all will try to carry on his legacy. First and foremost, Eiffel was a dedicated husband and father. Lana, I know this for sure. Eiffel loved you with his whole heart. To his 3 amazing children, he was so proud of you all. He often told me of the progress you were making in your lives as you grew up. And watching the 3 of you grow up through his eyes was an amazing adventure. To his family spread near and far, he was a pillar of strength, providing unwavering support and guidance to his loved ones. Eiffel's commitment to his family was truly admirable and serves as a testament to the kind of man that he was. But Eiffel's impact extended far beyond his role as a family man. Here at the JCA, he was the man behind the desk, always willing to answer the questions, field the complaints, with that amazing smile. In the gym, as we've heard, it was never a walk. It was always a run. And Eiffel surrounded himself with the greatest fitness staff. He was so proud of them. They're learning and growing, and he was proud of their achievements and success. Eiffel came into my life many years ago as a personal trainer, but he quickly became more than someone I just met at the gym once a week. He became a mentor and a friend, and as my son referred to it, he became family. He shared in many milestones and celebrations with us. There were days when the last thing I wanted to do was one of Eiffel's crazy workouts. And anybody who had the joy of a special birthday workout with Eiffel, not a gift, but you know what I'm talking about. But it never failed. I would walk out of the gym a little sweaty, but glad that I was there. He always wanted me to be the best version of myself, not just physically, but in all facets of my life. He set goals for me that I have not met yet, but I promise I am well on my way, and I will honor the goals that he and I planned together. But that was the thing about Eiffel. He wanted that for everyone. Over the past few days, I've talked to a lot of friends who felt the same way. Even those who had a few quick interactions with him in the halls of the JCA felt seen and welcomed. Eiffel's dedication to helping others achieve the best of themselves was truly inspiring, and his clients and the JCA community that he served were fortunate to have him in their lives. Beyond his professional role, Eiffel was a friend and a mentor to many. He had a genuine and caring nature that just drew people towards him. Eiffel was always there to lend a listening ear, offer advice, and provide support to those in need. He had this way of making everyone feel valued and heard, and his wisdom and his unending thirst for knowledge was invaluable to those who were all fortunate enough to have him in their lives. Today, as we celebrate Eiffel's life, let us remember the impact he had on each and every one of us. Let us carry forward his legacy of love, dedication, and inspiration. He may no longer be with us physically, but his spirit will forever live on in our hearts and memories. I would like to share a poem by Margaret Mead called Remember Me. To the living I am gone, to the sorrowful I will never return, to the angry I was cheated, but to the happy I am at peace. To the faithful I have never left. I cannot speak, but I can listen. I cannot be seen, but I can be heard. So as you stand upon a shore gazing at a beautiful sea, as you look upon a flower and admire its simplicity, Remember me. Remember me in your heart, your thoughts, and your memories of the times we loved, the times we cried, the times we fought, and the times we laughed. For if you always think of me, I will never be gone. I may never be able to walk the halls of the GCA without missing your smile, your laugh that could be heard throughout the building, the smell of sardines, or your hearty Shabbat Shaloms. They were the best. But I promise I will forever carry you in my heart and continue living life to the fullest. Thank you, Eiffel, for being a shining example of what it means to be a dedicated husband, father, friend, and mentor. Your presence in our life will be deeply missed, but your influence will continue to guide and inspire us. May you rest in peace knowing that you left an indelible mark on this world. Thank you.
Now, JCA colleague and part of the JCA Fitness and Wellness team, Bobby Barone, would like to share.
I have a very loud voice. I'm taking off my blue jacket because Eiffel said, Bobby, you always wear black. So I dug up a blue jacket today for you, Eiffel. So I'm going to sniff some of your sardines. Oof. He was a beauty. So I'm going to start off for the first family. I'm sorry for your loss. He was an impactful player. I can still feel his stomp every time I take a step. And I want to thank the board of directors, Adam Chasen, and the most beautiful members any place could ever have, that we fill the halls, walking, thinking of Eiffel. Every time I see you, I know each and every one of your names. Eiffel confided in me, but I want to tell you, my fitness team that I work alongside of, Eiffel picked each and every one of us. We are Team Eiffel. He picked each and every one of us just by looking through us, hearing our story. And he put his trust and belief in us and made each and every one of us better. So going forward, I know when I arrived here 5 years ago, he looked at me and he said, Bobby Barone from Brooklyn. And I said, Eiffel Gilyana from Iraq. A confidant. He was my Apollo. And he told me I was his underdog, Rocky. And we are all gathered here today with the feeling of the presence of an impact player. We will never be denied the gift we truly had. We share in our hearts the love we feel. We can't lose We can never lose. All of us profited. And I want you to feel my words. And going forward, with a wonderful teammate that I was told will lead our way, Karen Cataldo, she's an immense treasure of the JCA. The respect, the admiration, and her commitment dedicated to get the most out of each and every one of us has already been served by being her teammate. And I am proud, going forward, for her to lead the team that Eiffel had chosen, and I'm sure her choices going forward will be all the best, because we are the best. Everybody, God bless, stay positive, keep living. Thank you.
Like Grant Helm, another JCA colleague and part of the fitness and wellness team, and a close family friend.
Thank you all for taking the time to be here today and just being here. And it really is an honor and humbling speaking here in front of all you guys, and just letting you know how special it was not only to myself, but to each and every one of us in here. And being honest, I probably wouldn't be here at all if it wasn't for Eiffel, in a lot of ways. From my career, the learning from him, starting a family and being a family man, and the serving everybody here in the community. It all radiates from Eiffel and the rest of our training team. But I didn't come up here to share just how special Eiffel was to me, just because I know how special he was to each and every one of us here, and what an impact that he made along the way. I believe all of us in here can agree on one thing, that Eiffel has a special gift. And his gift is that whether you knew him for 10 years, a lifetime, or even just 10 minutes meeting him for the first time in the hallway, you would walk away feeling like you had a new best friend, somebody that would be there for you no matter what. And so in this room, we all knew Eiffel as either our boss, we knew him as part of our family, whether it be a coworker, a coach, one of our trainers, a brother in the military, a member of the Hydro Task Force, or a veteran serving actively in this community, or the best way as a friend. Today, we blur all of those lines as we're all here together as one to live in Eiffel's honor. And as we're going through this time and space together, we can easily find ourselves questioning why these situations find a way into our lives. And we can often forget that God told us that we will experience several hardships throughout our life. So much so that within the Old Testament, within the Torah, and I'm sure within any other form of literature, it says, "Fear not, do not be afraid, do not fear, do not worry, and do not be dismayed," over 300 times within those texts. And it's not just stated for a reason, because as humans, we tend to have our belief based on the things that we can see and the things that happen within our lives. But that's not what faith is. And it's what God tells us to keep our focus on, is what we cannot see. So I just have two scriptures. They don't give answers, but they help kind of within this time and space. The first one is 2 Corinthians chapter 5, verse 7. And it tells us that it can be difficult to trust God during these uncertain times. But as believers, we know that God's ways are not our own ways, and that he will ultimately work out all things for good. And the second one is Romans 8, verse 8. Yet we all suffer now, for what we suffer now is nothing compared to the glory that he will reveal to us later. And as we're here in this room, we may not know what that glory will look like tomorrow, the next week, 10, 20, or the rest of our lifetime. We do not know what that glory will look like. But during these moments, I always try to find and ask myself, what would Eiffel do in this situation? And I feel like he will tell us to control what you can control and to focus on these 3 simple things every single day to the fullest. And the first one is you have to keep faith. Your faith is a rock that doesn't move, no matter which faith walk you are walking. You have to honor and stick to your faith. The second one is your family. Every day, let them know how much they love and mean to you. And let your emotions move you to tears, whether it be joy or happiness. And to Joseph, Yana, and Sarai, there's nothing else that y'all need to do on this earth to make him more proud than what he is of y'all now and to this day. Your mother and your father's strength and courage really radiates through each and one of y'all. And the third one that we have to do every day that we all know Eiffel as is we have to stay healthy. Every day we have to train, whether we don't want to, whether we not. We have to do things we don't want to do. We have to be outdoors every day and put amazing things like sardines into our body. And when he put me on at first, I was completely against it, but it softens to you as time goes on. It gets a little easier. And I close with Jim Valvano's speech in the 1993 ESPYs. And he stated in the end, in order to know where you are in life, you have to know where you started. In order to get where you want to be, you have to keep the enthusiasm for life. You have to dream big, and you have to work relentlessly towards that dream every day. And as Eiffel would say, whenever faced with adversity, and he will state it at every single team meeting that we would have, his famous word, slagorf. Now you may be wondering what slagorf is. Slagorf stands for you have to stay calm. You have to listen actively. You have to acknowledge those around you. And of course, you have to get all of the facts. Offer solutions. Report to the manager, whether it's yourself or within work, and you have to follow up and get it done. Until we meet again, brother. Thank you.
Eiffel was indeed a friend to all he met. And being here today, we carry on his legacy, supporting one another through this challenging time. Just as he stood by each of us when he was needed, we honor him by remaining true to each other, to hold his family and his community in our sorrow, and we pray once again in joyful times. Once again, we invite Amy Allen Farmer to join us with another song.
When you're down and troubled and you need some loving care, and nothing is going right, close your eyes and think of me, and soon I will be there to brighten up even your darkest night. You just call out my name, and you know wherever I am, I'll come running to see you again. Winter, spring, summer, or fall, all you have to do is call, and I'll be there, oh yeah. got a friend. If the sky above you grows dark and full of clouds, and that old north wind begins to blow, keep your head together and call my name out loud. Soon you'll hear me knocking at your door. You just call out my name, and you know wherever I am, I'll come running to see you again. Winter, spring, summer, or fall, all you have to do is call, and I'll be there. Ain't it good to know that you've got a friend? People can be so cold. They'll hurt you and desert you and take your soul if you let them. Oh, please don't you let them. You just call out my name, and you know wherever I am, I'll come running to see you again. Winter, spring, summer, or fall, all you have to do is call, and I'll be there. Oh yeah, you've got a friend. We've got a friend. Ain't it good to know we've got a friend? We've got a friend. We've got a friend.
On behalf of the Board of Trustees and the entire staff of the Jewish Community Alliance, our gratitude goes to each of you here in person or in spirit. We thank you for coming and hope that you'll take some time to share your stories more personally with one another this afternoon. Thank you very much.